Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 8.6. Okay, well, let's just continue this. Did some maintenance work, deployed a... well, maybe that's a good thing. Yeah. Brick to Relius group. Do we want to see what's... Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so we've got a massive air support for Louise's. That's what's... for a second there, I thought maybe there was a... oh, what do you call it? Ground invasion, but no, or naval invasion. No, just air powers coming in and pounding to defend this, because we have here, they're bombing Boulogne. Lieutenant Gruber and his little tanks, along with the Nouvion garrison, is attacking Louise of the Communist Resistance, as well as also the Nouvion Resistance here of Michelle of the Resistance. We've already dealt with Renee's. Her flick is slowly moving into place there. Of course, we could bring other units into it, but that isn't going to do so well, is he? Let's add some more. So we want them to stop once they've... run out of organization, basically. Okay, that should throw a few more. Fighters into the mix. Some Americans, and we've won here. So these guys are going to stop and get ready to attack there in 2 hours. Yeah, that sounds about right. And we've won there, and how long did we... Okay, 13 hours, well. Okay, well, getting back up to here. We've got the Panzer, or the group Jewel Hermann Göring up here. With that, now we also have these guys, and these guys, look at this. See the speed, 8.6, 15.6 with these tractors. That really mega speeds them up. They are like race cars once they get moving. Now here, Hermann Göring division. Now one thing I noticed here, and I don't know whether I should risk going in and meddling with the stuff. I'd save it before I did it. But the priority, it should have the Hermann Göring regiment with a higher priority visually than the Panzer regiment, so that we'd have the cool symbol there. But the Hermann Göring division with Korath, now you can see him just a little bit boost, because you can see some of the other their Panzer Hermann Göring regiment is a little bit slower. So is the Flak regiment. But we got that. The sort of motorized version are the Brandenburgers. Not nearly as fast because they have the trucks, but you know, I think we have time before we need them anywhere. So let's German half-track support. Put that there. Oh, you stay right where you are. We'll speed that up. How long will that be? Till September 43, so not that long. We're going to pay the 5 AC, put it to the top, make sure it's... Been sticking a few other things up there. Doing a little bit of pillboxes out on the Azores. And that kind of thing. So, got that, and so we've got a few other good divisions here sort of getting ready to protect the northern area for invasion. And I put, not that, but these guys are the good Panzer Grenadier divisions there that we recently got down here. And we have 2 corps of SS. You can see with the heavy Panzer anti-long ones, and then several of the other historical. Oh, one other thing I wanted to show off here. I think it's up here. No. Oh, yeah. This is I've attached to the school a martyr anti-long, or one. I guess they're all sort of called martyrs, but one is that just support guns and that, so that we have been attached to his, so his is a more flexible conf group. But works pretty well. It's moving sort of slow because it has to cross a river there, but it should also be fairly fast. Well, I think it's time we move in von Klinkerhoffen's as a support attack. So I'll get another. Yeah, there we go. No need. And fair flick of the Gestapo. I just want to show off again. I know this is early on, and this is, you know, the unit thing. Maybe it's convincing you to is the new young garrison type troops. Maybe it's convincing you not to get this. No, I will fix the, again, that's just the same thing there. Von Strom, and we'll fix Bertorelli's Italians, and Lieutenant Gruber's little tank. That's a mock-up. It's not a real one, but they mounted it. It looks pretty damn good for a mock-up of a what's it, a 222 or whatever. But for this he has multiples. But yes, okay, here, flick, you attack in there from the south, seeing if the New Vion garrison can deal with the uprising all on its own without having to get other stuff in there. Okay, and we've started down here a naval invasion coming in next to Karachi here. Hopefully we'll be able to take Karachi. We're sending out police everywhere, and we've got police down here now. Okay, let's look at revolt risks down here. One of these units I should put back on here. Send up to here. Maybe detach him or something. Let's send you up into, yeah, here. We have some resources. We want to keep revolt risk down. Oh, come on, get there. The road networks have advanced. Great. That should help with some of our minor supply problems now. I will call them minor. And of course this also gives us, which will affect our ICs until May 44 by 3%. And supply and money. Now, let's see. Well, let's come over here and do long range. That'll help a lot of other production. These guys still going to go out a little bit further before I send them up. Oh, look, we're ashore. Okay. Road network level 7, so that's good. And it's entirely undefended. I used units that would get ashore fast. But I hope we get ashore fast. Terrain here, okay. Totenkopf. Can you come out that way? You guys march down here to the swamp. You take that, so by the time these guys can get back, hopefully we'll be able to convoy in. Or regular transport in. More units. Okay, yes, you may have energy. Okay, I'm not going to break my division on those Bhutanese. There now. Even if this becomes a stalemate because of units being sent in or sent around. Oh, there we go. Got it there. We've won East London. I think that means South Africa. I don't think it has a victory point left, does it? Oh no, I guess it has this now. Damn. Cruiser crew training. Good, 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 good. Yeah, they needed that, but I think this will allow, yes, improvements over here to damage control systems, which is good. Destroyer crew training, which also does allows us to improve damage control systems. Okay, yes. Where's... Damn, oh, 46, we're already in 46. No, we don't want to research that. But we can do fire control solutions, that'll be good. Better aiming of the guns. Now let's take here, so it's one less province that Portugal has an enemy next to maybe think about joining us. like I was saying, is even if this turns into a stalemate down here, okay, we see we've already got that. We're busting out all over. We're back there. So, don't have any HQs yet. They're coming. We're gonna have to reorganize something, I think, here. Oh, yeah, you could head down. Okay, well, that should be fast. Should also be fast. I want to exploit. Yeah, maybe not so fast, but going into rough terrain, good. Oh, that was a. I wonder what this was. This is one of the units that got upgraded, so we want to no leader, and unassign him. We may attach that to some unit at some point. Well, let's put it on board the ship. Maybe there's somebody in India that would rather some African unit or something that we could attach that to. Why is he going so slow? Weather. Okay, that's why he's going so slow. Yeah, well, oh no, you can't. Okay, well, there we go. We'll get you guys over here, and of course, this transport, production, create a supply convoy out of one of our two favorites here, and Karachi. Oh. That's a little over needed, just a little bit. I think there's still mega amounts in the supply chain. We're doing a little more than needed here because we're trying to push this down a little bit. Because the White Rose people were putting out literature that wasn't friendly to Nazis. Let's send you back at least. Well, send you back here. I get you to 15 units now. You are sitting out here. We're gonna send you up to what, here? Yeah. Side of the quick shipping lanes, like here. Are we bombing these guys? No. This looks like maybe one unit. Okay, now we're still reorganizing up. Got a river to cross. Oh, lots of stuff here. That's a battleship. Okay, that our submarines have spotted. One battleship we might be able to handle rather easily, actually, but I'm afraid of running into a big doom stack of them. Having all my navy sunk. Or a big chunk of it. Okay, fighter ground crew trading has advanced, yes. And that puts that to 44, so that's doing well. We've got the 2 nav pilot. No, attack pilot training isn't so far off. But CAS is, heavy bomber is even more with ground crew. We have a few of those, not many. They also affect heavy transport morale, so we'll do that just to sort of even things out. Okay, deploy the 5th SS Gerbs, Gebirgs 4. Was formed in Berlin in July 43, and the Truppen Übungsplatz Mellewitz near Prague, where it received its Korpstruppen. It was transferred to Croatia and ordered in October of 1943 and mainly fought against Tito's partisans in the Croatian Bosnian region. The Corps was transferred in February 45 to Germany, where it remained until it ended the war near Berlin. Okay, Mountain Corps. That is Phelps right there. He's the main divisional commander. Here with Prince Eugen. That's right. He is another German general. I don't know. Not an SS guy. That's just, I don't know, SS Mountain Trooper Orderly or something, and I don't know who's covered up there. Yeah, why not? Don't know what we'll use him for. Oh, Phelps got promoted out of my Prince Eugen. Well, let's see. What sort of SSE type, mountain type guy we can put in charge of this. He might do. I still don't know who this damn von Muir is. That's why I refuse to use him. Not saying he didn't exist, or whatever, and maybe somebody did at some point point out some, maybe someone did, but let's, not here. There we go. So let's see. Assigned the 21st Gebirgskorps was formed in Serbia. Counter threat, large party. Okay. Okay. Don't know who any of those generals are right offhand. But I think, looking at this, this is a picture from a training exercise of some sort, I think. Again, no proof, no evidence. But see that guy there? And see that light band, or what I would call white around there? That was often sort of done for like umpires for the training corps. When like a division or a couple of divisions were training, yeah, theoretically during the war or pre-war or sometime like that, they would wrap that around to sort of clearly show that he's, you know, being an umpire, not for any one side or the other. And so in training, obviously you're not going to shoot real bullets at him, but it does sort of, you know, I mean, you don't have to hide from him or whatever. He's out there observing. Okay, so we have Phelps here with this Mountain Corps. Got a Schwer artillery unit. Okay, I mean, I'm sure it's historical. Why they stuck it there, but it's not what I would do for a light, quick, rough terrain Mountain Corps. But for a backup thing, okay. There's a Sturm Battalion. Well, not sure what I'm gonna do with that. I know they use this symbol here for the thing, but and it's very dramatic, and it is sort of good. But as sort of reminded, and I made up a long time ago SS Corps symbols, but they were like the ones you saw in the picture with the sort of checkerboard, you know, two white, two black squares with the SS up in the corner. That's what I did. Now this is more dramatic, but here. And so we'll leave that there because I just don't know what to do with, especially with that, because I was thinking, oh, we'll send them off to India to be a Mountain Corps headquarters. I guess he was the correct guy because it's inactive, so had to be sent into there. Well, We really don't need him there, so we'll send him here. Maybe he'll end up in India or somewhere. Okay, you go there. You stop going there and start going, well, yeah, and you keep going there. You're taking the territory. How goes the fight now? And Gruber's losing a bunch of tanks, armored cars. Lieutenant Gruber's tanks have shattered. Uh-oh. 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 We're gonna have to bring in some real units here, I guess. Oh no, we're still maybe sort of winning. Vichy France, we give them energy, sure. I would sort of like to win with just the... Yeah. Well, the Nouvion garrison is shattered. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is stop the attack because you're about ready to shatter. Oh, maybe that's because of the air pounding you're taking too. Let's send up some real SS in the form of the SS Poletside Division. Go for it. And yeah, oh, they're shattering because I stopped them and he still shattered. Oh, they're shattering purely because of the pounding from the air power. Oh, wow. Okay. I think they would have taken them had, who's attacking Clear Flick? Louise is attacking, okay. Communist resistance. Here's Group F Commando was created 43 in Beirut under Maximilian von Welsch as primary station director. Okay, I hope they don't rip him out from wherever he was. Let's... No, good. Deploy the 15th Gebirgs Corps. Okay. Conducting counterinsurgency operations against Yugoslavian partisan independence in Croatia. Okay, good. We'll take that because these do have like headquarters guards or other things. Oh, pull looters out. Oh, I'm missing him from somewhere. Okay, well, that's good too. It's nice to have it. We really don't have that big of a need. We've got a bunch of units that are doing it well enough. Herflix. We've lost the Battle of Abbeville. We've won the Battle of Bombay. We've got to move maybe a little quicker here. So they're gonna get, you know, again, air power. Let's send in this Panzer Division too. They get there quicker than Poletside Division. That's been interesting. I think they would have taken him. Definitely would have taken him with Bertoli's group had it not been for all that air power hitting them. Okay. Rome, Declaration of Rome as an open city. Rome was declared an open city on August 1st, 43 by Bagliolio's government. It was recognized by the Italian Social Republic and the Third Reich, although Germany de facto occupied the city and violated its status by using Rome to host troops. The Allies never recognized the open city status. Okay, well, that event is... And I've asked a few people and they've definitely chimed in that they think it's an alright thing. to put stuff like that in, and it's not a wrong thing by any means, because it is sort of informative, a nice little tidbit of history, if you will, and that's a good thing. But obviously, Mussolini's government, with isn't going to be declaring Rome an open city or whatever this thing. So I would have that as a Sicily's fallen and North Africa's occupied to have that happen. Okay, oh, ground attack. Are all my other units here? They're not intercepting very well, I guess. Oh, we've got some military police opposing us. Okay, now move. No, not super fast, but you're moving. Good. You're actually going to move really fast, aren't you? We're just going to drive you around. We go here? No. No, okay. Drive around super fast and scoop up provinces. We'll reorganize once we get a HQ here. You get moving. Well, okay. Let's sign the 22nd. Oh, pause this thing. Geberg's Army Corps was formed in Greece in 43. Okay, yeah, we'll take it. I like those kind of units for Italy and stuff. I mean, India, sorry. In India, because they're good for rough terrain. See, I told you these guys are fairly quick. Terrain. Go. Coming up this side of the river. I think we're gonna cross the river there to grab that. You start going across that river. It's going to take a while. You march up that way. There. You go there. Take that province. You've abandoned that one, so okay. Good. They're reacting to me going after Bombay and Karachi. And we finally won in here. Before you can get across the river and get up there. Because he doesn't have an engineer unit. That's why he's going slow. Okay, medium bomber prototypes have advanced. Good. Yeah, we should do some of this. A lot of things, of course, but already out here? Okay, good. We've got these guys out here. They're getting organized up so that we can do some more invasions. It would be useful if we weren't after Britain, but I sort of said, ooh, is that a good idea or not? Probably not. Well, no headquarters have made it down, have they? Okay, well, they're coming, but they were sort of mostly behind, I guess. I'd go and grab them. Not that it really matters at this point. Lots of units here. More than we need. If we can stick in a mountain unit or something here. Oh, all full up, okay. Okay. Thought we had this pop up and stop here thing. There we go. 10th Army Commando was reactivated. Okay, in the Calabrian region, that's way down south of the toe of Italy. Okay, in defense of Italy, the winter line. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Why not? Okay, there we go. I've been waiting for this. Yeah, okay, we won Bombay again. Atlantikwall, Calais section. That's up here, obviously. Mein Führer, how would you like us to prepare the section of the Atlantikwall? This section of our planned defensive fortifications will provide anti-invasion coverage along the northeastern coast of France near the Palais de Calais and Dunkirk. Okay, we're going to go with medium defenses, I think. Level 2, yeah, level 4. Not, well, that wouldn't be bad. That's sort of overkill in my opinion. Maybe not so much against a human player who's going to invade you if you're really worried, stuck on the Eastern Front and had the money. That's sort of what I was... Okay, so we needed to get a lot of money, but we have even a lot more, so I don't know exactly why. 6,000 money. I know the last time I played through this series, before I started this, I went and I think I took all of those values that they had and cut them in half for the money and put, I forget whether it was like 3,000 supplies or maybe 6,000 supplies. Because again, they're sort of like, you end up with Germany particularly, because this, everybody, well, most of the major mods sort of mod for Germany because most people play it and it's sort of the bellwether, if you will, for how things are going. But if you you end up with a lot of money sticking up here normally, and I think this is just partially the Black Ice team. Well, what do we do with all this? But my conviction, and I really think the money is purely there for international trading reasons, expenses. So if you want to figure that stuff going into the medium wall, or the Atlantic Wall, had a fair amount of steel bought from Sweden in it, So they use cheap steel for the reinforcement of the concrete. They didn't use the high quality stuff coming out of Sweden that they put into tank armor and gun barrels and other things like that. It's sort of a natural alloy. But yeah, if you want to figure, you know, that has some stuff being bought, or if they were buying a lot of high-end watches, and Switzerland was selling high-end watches to various combatants, or timepieces, I should say. They maybe, you know, put in other things, not just like wrist watches, but for precise timing stuff. So if you want to, or tungsten or whatever being bought from Spain and Portugal, if you want to presume that it had a certain amount of foreign expenditures, one way or another, buying a resource, buying an end good, maybe they're figuring, and this is, I'm just coming across in my mind now, maybe that's paying the local workers. But as we've already seen from the events, that they sort of did funny money too, you know, counterfeit money. So I'm not against the idea necessarily, especially if you want to look at the money thing, having money as a partial cost to these things. But it's primarily, in my opinion, an exchange medium, not an internal use medium. So I would much rather go, because in a way, yes, and I know Black Ice does cost money and other things at times, but as we can see here, different seaport levels and other things on Swedish steel trade. See there, we're already paying that Swedish steel trade to get that effect. We're paying 15% for our money, and so that I totally agree with, completely and totally agree with that. And see, like Reichsminister and private-owned private secretariat, that's Martin Bormann. He's costing money building all kinds of bunkers and things like that for Hitler and whatever. So I put that in as a cost for having him as forced on you as you know, here, that I did that because that's sort of what I thought would be a good negative thing there, because I didn't want to just do all positives for people. Maybe, and as I'm sitting here thinking about it, maybe a good effect, and maybe when I go in and tweak some of this stuff, maybe do Wilhelm Canaris with a 1% or 2% money cost, because he's paying foreign spies and bribing foreign governments. That could be, you know, in Spain, Portugal, Turkey, wherever, you know, paying off people for information. That would be a good, because they're paying foreigners off with gold or British pounds or whatever the Swedish money is, or the Spanish, you know, so that's a, you know, they're having to get the money. So that would be a thing to do that. An effect. I don't know if Joachim von Ribbentrop for whatever, but you know, so that's my thought. And so I went in and changed those for the previous playthrough. Again, not to make, and to where it's also more critical is because if you're just generating huge amounts of money doing what you're doing, because a nation does just generate money plus other trades and things, and you're fighting for your life in the Soviet Union, but you have this huge stock of money, but you're low on resources. Oh yeah, sure, I'll build Atlantikwall, no problem, because hey, all it's doing is, I may even also throw in some steel, just partially because we have a lot of it, and partially because not just the gun barrels and the gun mantlets. When you look at those bunkers, there's all kinds of rebar type steel and iron and whatever formed inside of those things too. Junk quality comparatively, you know, not armor or gun barrel or whatever I could say again, but so if you're needing supplies to supply your armed forces, it now then really has a real cost if you're fighting for your life on, say, the Eastern Front, while you're worrying about building this, where this doesn't have a real cost in that sense. So again, I didn't do it to make it easier for my playing when I did it last time, and it's something that I might want to go in and tweak in the future, whether for TRE or just my next playthrough, if we're going to do that. But so we're gonna go medium. Boom, 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 boom. This would have definitely changed. That battle with the air power wouldn't have been attacking without our provinces with that level of air power. Let's go grab up the Nubian garrison here. Send them back here. I want to test out the invasion tactics to see if it's even good at all to build these, because if these are just turned over and I want to see how this goes, which I think is not going to go well, but I want to see. Maybe my advice to you is not to build these because it may be easier to hold against an allied invasion. Okay, what do we want to build more of? Okay, so we are building some of these guys, but these take a long time to build. Electric submarines. We've improved some of the base stuff on those, but I don't know if I quite want to yet put more carriers into production. We had 3, 1 regular and 2 light still coming, but on the really sort of old, early sucky type. Got some regular submarines, partially because the other ones cost twice as much and take about another 150 more days to produce. We're producing a bunch more. Well, we could even produce more. I'm looking here, we're down at 77. We're periodically losing a few. And we're also more and more and more going all over the world supplying, and if we're going to start supplying across the Atlantic, South America or something, we're going to need that. And let's also throw in a couple more of the... Okay, that I think is useful and necessary. We're going to do even more fighters because we were losing those fighters a little too fast, a little too much. It looks like he's going to get into there just fine, so you get across here. Might as well finish that movement there. They're going to hold out there just fine. They're going to occupy that. You need to swing up there. How's revolt risk in India doing? Okay, well, let's move you up to here. Sort of moving you maybe over this way a bit. You're just taking that province. Okay, well, we come up here. We may shift some more police down from have a little bit more up there ready. I do want to put some into here, into there in the French, Vichy French, and some over in here to keep the resources flowing, and we already have a little bit down here, so now let's sort of like attack there. Now we're just attacking police units, but it's a garrison against a person that's already attacking. Hope this isn't going too long because I forgot to note the time when I started this episode. I do that once in a while. Forget when I started it, or just having too much fun and I'm not increase range, which is great. Okay, no transports. Structural improvements. Yes, we'll do that. Okay, U.S. Army Air Force bombing raid on Schweinfurt. Regensburg mission was an air combat battle on August 17, 1943. The aim of Operation Double Strike was to simultaneously attack key air industries and ball bearing factories in southern Germany. Albert Speer, after the war, stated that the Schweinfurt Regensburg missions had reduced ball bearing productions by 34%. However, the U.S. Air Force suffered heavy losses. A planned follow-up raid had to be postponed to rebuild American forces. Outright losses represented over 26% of the attacking force. Losses in air crew were equally heavy, with 650 men lost of 2,900, 22% of the bomber crews. When the second attack on Schweinfurt came on October 14th, the loss of 20% of more than 20% of the aircraft, or 60 out of 291 B-17s. The American official history of the U.S. Army Air Force has acknowledged the losses have been so heavy that the U.S. Air Force would not return to the target for months. The 8th Air Force had, for the time being, lost air superiority over Germany. Consequently, unescorted daylight bombing raids deep into Germany were suspended until February 44. Big week missions with P-51B Mustang escorts. The Schweinfurt missions in particular foretold the failure of deep penetration raids of Germany without adequate long-range escort. Yes. Okay, so we're not taking, we gained some popularity and gained some network defense and home front focus. Okay. Yeah. The B-17 was an excellent aircraft. Don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. I'm not saying it doesn't have limitations. I'm not saying it doesn't have weaknesses, but it is an excellent aircraft. You know, it's not nearly as the B-29 later in the war bombing Tokyo or Japan. They went from precision daylight bombing to mass daylight bombings at super high altitudes to be above any flak guns, be above even a lot of Japanese fighter ability to intercept the aircraft. And they knew by going so high they couldn't precision bomb like they were trying to do in Germany. It's just, and the B-17 was called the Flying Fortress because if you look all over it, there are lots of 50 caliber machine guns, and they even put in more as time went on. And I'm going to make a series of, I'm going to try to make a series sometime of cool war movies, like a cool top 10 list of Navy movies, of Air Force movies and stuff sometime, and put them up on videos. But I'm trying to, one that deals with the B-17 crew, just sort of as Pearl Harbor was happening. According to it, the earlier ones, though this is a movie and it's propaganda, didn't have a tail gun in it, and they sort of haphazardly stuck one in it. Well, I think they did start the war out with tail guns, but I'm not sure. But they definitely later took them a while to do, like the ball turret mount on the bottom, and some of those there were definitely upgrades as time went on from the earliest pre-war models. But they had bristling with 50 caliber machine guns, and they were really good. And they really thought they could, with all these guns on them, and then fly in formations fairly close to each other, but also like diamond four-plane formations, but then on slightly higher and lower altitudes, sort of checkerboard around, have more of them, so they wouldn't bump into each other. You weren't wing to wing, but they were so overlapping that it would be really hard to fly into them and you'd shoot down aircraft. Well, it works, but only to an extent, as like the Schweinfurt raid shows. If you go too long, too far in it, the enemy air power can just keep doing pass after pass, can hit the sides of the formation, I'm sure. Probably a bunch of other techniques, coming out of the sun, because where this big formation's going. It isn't going to break up and do different things. And sure that periodically they change to a new heading, but they all do it at once and keep in formation. And there's guide planes. Now, all the planes had navigators because they could get separated. They could, had to be able to navigate their way out. But they had guide planes that, everyone would form up on. So you sort of like know where they are, and okay, well, instead of immediately diving in them, okay, well, let's go up into the sun and then come out of the sun. So the 50 caliber gunners are looking into the sun, maybe not spotting them, or even if they are spotting them, they're trying to aim the gun at them, and it gets hard. So you can come in and attack them, but because there are so many 50 calibers mounted around these things, and because they're reasonably effective mounting setups, that you can get them on target, they can swing pretty fast, they're reasonably accurate sighting systems, reasonably accurate gunners. I have a Remington. It's sort of a Remington's version of an of a Browning Auto 5. I say that because Remington did not have the patent to the Auto 5, and it is not an Auto 5. It's completely different from an Auto 5 in just about every detail, but it's the Remington copy of an Auto 5, meaning it looks like an Auto 5, Browning Auto 5, designed by John Moses Browning. Looks like it, functions from a user like it, but the internals are different and completely set up different. But it's a semi-automatic shotgun, and just because Browning's Auto 5 is a great shotgun, semi-auto shotgun, basically the first semi-auto shotgun, and up until really sort of modern designs, it's up and through into the 50s, it was a really good, really great shotgun, and still they're great to this day. There's just better ones out there, Benelli shotguns, and later not designed by Browning, but later Browning semi-auto, the company Browning semi-auto shotguns. But I got a Remington one that has a bunch of army proof marks all over it, because what it was used for in America was to train, basically, I do believe, I don't have documentation on this, but just knowing the type of thing, to train gunners or possibly pilots, but mostly gunners. And what they would do is they get them on the back of a pickup truck, stand them in a little rack, and drive that pickup truck like in the California desert, where it's a little bumpy, but not over the hills, but in sort of relatively flat pancake desert kind of thing. There's some that are like the Bonneville salt flats, or where they do the land speed records, or extremely flat, but out there in sort of flat or dirt roads, they're just jiggling a little bit. If they wanted to jiggle a little bit, moving along, but they also to be moving along and to shoot as they drive by at stationary targets, or sometimes even launched targets from things as you're driving by, to get deflection shooting. So you're moving, the target's moving, everything's moving around, and not just but they'd also start out with standing shotguns and shooting skeet and trap type stuff to get these gunners to be able to shoot at moving targets. And this was a training shotgun, semi-automatics. They didn't want to train you to work the semi-auto pump. No, they just wanted you to concentrate on shooting the target, whether it's a ground target as you're driving by, or an aerial toss target, whether stationary or driving by. So this has World War II proof markings on the gun. It's just in fair shape, and it's an okay shooter, but I got it because the World War II connection to it, and it was one of the mass purchases of civilian type guns, but for a non-combat but military use from World War II. So that's how they would train the gunners, to get them to be able to do it. But they're only so good. And so coming all the way into Schweinfurt, without colors of the map, it's sort of harder to as from sure. Oh well, let's go here. Doesn't it has an effect? Yeah, here, Schweinfurt. Coming all the way into there in daylight without escorts, you can, like you say, you lose 26% of your aircraft, and they're expensive, and people, I think a lot of the pilots survived, but they were just, into the, you've seen the Great Escape movie, they're just all the pilots going into the prisoner of war camps kind of thing, so that all gets expensive. So, they're not unarmed, they did do damage, but it would be effective for relatively short penetration rates. If you're able to hit those unescorted. But then again, those, of course, you could escort because fighters could reach there. And you still even wanted all those machine guns because as the fighter, as your fighters are diving at them, it still helps. So, okay, reorganize the division. I think, okay, on August 10th, 1943, the 233rd Panzer Division was reorganized as the 233rd Reserve Panzer Division and transferred to Denmark. Okay, so you could decide not to do this or do this. We're going to do this. Just 500 supplies. Again, it's the TRE Reserve Ersatz Army Upgrade Train by Lad Virgil. So transferred up here. We don't have a leader for it. Now this again is getting even better, I do believe, than it was before, because there's no militia unit attached to it. Just okay, there we go. Yeah, we're running out of armored commanders, so, but I'm going to send him back down to here. Be ready to deal with a scripted invasion, because I don't think there's one coming in Denmark. The U.S. was just, well, shall we put it, I'll put it this way. The U.S. Army Air Forces were just wedded to precision bombing. They just thought that was, to a point, a war-winning thing. But it needed to be daylight, it needed to be precision. Because they very much thought, what's the purpose of dropping bombs and missing your target? You drop bombs to hit your target. Okay, they're just getting there, and they're right about that. I mean, just the act of dropping bombs is not a worthy exercise. Oh, good. We have Palm Bay, so let's out this way. What's the terrain like? Yeah. Okay, let's come up through here. But then again, oh, you need to join this fight against this garrison unit. There we go, that did the trick. But the British were doing major damage to the Germans in a military sense, not just blowing up cities with their night bombing as well. Okay, specialized AA, or anti-AA ammunition, okay. I think that's a one and done, and or not. Yeah, okay, I guess we just don't have. Yeah, okay. Okay, northern France section. Again, we're going to go for various reasons, but primarily for test reasons, we're going to go with the medium defenses. Also, I don't want to burn through too much cash. Now we've got through to there. Yes, you may have a teeny bit of metal, of course. How are we doing down here? I've sort of been waiting for some of these more recent visions to get they're going. Okay, you're still moving up. Okay. Bit of a supply problem it's looking like, but okay, well, let's keep. Oh well, we already come up here, so let's get across that river faster. These guys come here, 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 here. Okay, railroad network says advance. It's going to be another costly improvement, but I hope it will be an improvement to some of our supply problems, including places in France. Light cruiser escort role has advanced. Okay. Alright, well, let's see. We'll let this go because we may want to do the carrier task force at some point. Light bomber prototypes has advanced, so we will come up here and do this. But let's come. Yeah, let's do fire control system for that. There we go. Well, I think we're going to take this opportunity to end the episode. I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank you for liking the videos. I do appreciate that. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And of course, I want to hear from you. Please post questions, corrections, suggestions, ideas, whatever. Just love hearing from you. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.